So where do we start? We first met, I remember specifically where we met. We met at lunch at the TBC Summit 2 years ago when it was in Fort Worth with Lisa. You were there.
Huff.
You were there the first time. And then a handful of other people.
Was that the first time I met you too?
I think that we were best friends for...
I think we were from the moment we met, bro.
My brother from another mother.
We're like kind of the old guys a little bit, but we still look young.
I mean, you might look... I mean, with all these grays.
Oh, dude, look at me.
We're fooling it.
I look like Santa. I looked at a picture of me from 3 years ago.
I'm just glad you're wearing a hat today.
What? You're glad I'm wearing a hat? You don't like my poofy?
You looked like the guy with the strong hand from a Scary Movie. Like the long, just greasy hair. I was like, oh no, Justin's going to extend his strong hand during this podcast.
And you do have the best hair in
Oh, yeah, no. The best hair for a 43-year-old dude who's trying to pretend he still has hair. That's the best hair.
I remember the section in the podcast that you did with Giga, and you were talking about being in your skinny jeans and
man.
And boots going out on an oil field location, and I don't think they liked it.
No.
It wasn't a good look for you.
No, and it's not true. I actually still own those jeans. In fact, I may have them on this trip. And they are certainly not skinny jeans.
Well,
Michael Smith, Bloomberg, who reached out to me yesterday, by the way.
What do you want?
He was like, hey, man, this Bitcoin price made me think of you. And I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, you better. Nah, he was a nice dude. I liked him. He was good. You know, he got some things to learn on, I think, in the real world regarding Bitcoin and all the politics involved and the environmental impacts that it makes for the positive. Yeah, I think he was getting it. Like, all things considered, that whole thing was like Bloomberg green. So if they're obviously not going to be proponents of any of it and pretty anti-Bitcoin, anti-oil and gas, and it wasn't like completely, they definitely took their little shots, you know, and tried to make it sound a certain way, but it wasn't like awful.
It wasn't a complete hit.
Right. So
it's probably all that you can expect.
that's what you can hope for, really, from one of those.
I thought it was a good piece.
I didn't think it was bad. I did at the time, I'm like, crypto cowboy. First of all, I wouldn't have said crypto.
Have you had any text exchanges with Cal Penn since then?
I have, actually, yeah, a couple times.
Can we get Cal on the show?
Yeah, and he'll like some stuff on Instagram sometimes, and like the story or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, man, he does. He sounded very different when he was doing, like, during that show than the conversations were, because he was much more impressed with, like, what it could actually provide from the environmental side.
But he kind of had to stick to the script.
Yeah, I think they
were like, this is the Bloomberg script.
These guys are Bitcoin bros.
You're an actor.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But when we were there, he was very much like, this is huge. Like, this is incredible. He was very much impressed with, like, it being applied to something that he felt was important or serious. So, I mean, all things considered, I was glad I did. It was cool.
I've had similar conversations with people that, when you first start the conversation, it's really antagonistic and they don't care to hear anything that you had to say. Kind of had that in Houston last week when I went to the CFA conference and I spoke. And there was
crickets?
There was one specific person there from the University of Houston that was very anti everything that I was there to talk about. Mm-hmm. And, by the end of it, I don't feel like I won any complete hearts and mind for him, but I had a tremendous amount of people reach out to me after the fact. I've already had a few phone calls and Zooms with some of the participants that, were, I think, on the fence or kind of slightly negative, but by the time it was over, they were, they were curious, and I think curious in the right way.
That's all you can ask for, though, man.
A little Bitcoin curious.
A little Bitcoin.
Yes, I think I got a good laugh out of the room, a whole room full of CFAs, certified financial analysts, and I told them their goal was to try to get off zero, that owning none was the wrong number. Anything north of zero is the right answer, and then I had to follow it up with Past performance is no guarantee for future results.
Yeah, right.
Do your
Yeah.
own research.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
they all got a really good laugh out of.
Well, Phil, we didn't introduce him, but thank you for coming.
Where are we at? Where are we at first off?
We're
We're
just
Phil's
talking.
garage.
Yeah, we're Phil's garage.
Yeah, surrounded by race cars.
Race cars, dope pictures of Bitcoin Biggie.
Yeah, Biggie Small.
So walk us through the collection really quickly, and then I've got a funny story.
Oh,
Yeah, so the crown jewels, the '67 Camaro with the LS swap.
if we were really fancy, we'd do like a cutaway and I'd like show
Yeah,
it.
you
You know,
should definitely-
I'm making some B-roll. I'm making some
you
B-roll.
get some B-roll.
Yeah.
Man, Jake's so smart about this
Yeah,
stuff.
with the best license plate.
Yeah.
BTCN FTW Bitcoin for the win. Gets a lot of looks. Then I've got a '67 Mustang with a Coyote Cobra swap, and then I've got a '96 Lexus LX 450 with a LS swap in it as well. Yeah, and I got a Tahoe that actually came with an LS motor. So
So you didn't need to do a swap.
I didn't need to do a swap
Oh.
on that one. My wife drives that one daily. She needs something reliable.
So we had met, and then I remember we were at some event. I think it was also TBC. Maybe it was last year. And then you were like, "Oh yeah, I just bought this Camaro," and I was like, "Oh God, we're gonna become best friends." I just feel this. I felt it.
become best friends?
I felt this in my soul. And so the other day, so obviously we've been spending a lot of time together. We'll kind of get into that and like why. But we're at Phil's bar. So you're also a bar owner
I am a bar
in the
owner.
Fort Worth Stockyards.
It's called Rhinestone Saloon.
Rhinestone
It's,
Saloon.
It's not the nicest bar. It's not the worst bar.
Those are the best kind of bars, though, man.
Yeah, it's the type of place you go if you like fat chicks and bad decisions.
So we're going Friday night.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. It was one of those investments that I made back in 2022, right after COVID, and it was funny enough. It was actually on Bar Rescue on the Discovery Channel.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was on Bar Rescue.
Awesome, dude. After you owned it?
Phil came to the rescue.
Before, okay. You see, you were the bar rescue.
So Discovery Channel came to rescue the bar, and then I purchased it from the person that rescued it from Discovery Channel, and
This is a rescue bar. So
no,
you rescue
no one
dog.
had actually rescued it at all. It was very bad, seedy. There were, animals, and things that shouldn't be living in there at the time. And we came in and we completely gutted it, scraped the floors, put in new air conditioning, built new bars. They actually fired every single employee.
No kidding.
Started all over from scratch. And there's a whole other funny story that goes with that, but I don't think we can probably talk about it here on the podcast.
This is more B-roll.
It's just B-roll footage. But it was good. It's like one of those investments where I thought, going into it, I had no business owning a bar. It was not something I necessarily wanted to do, but I had some really good friends that thought it would be a great idea. And,
It sounds fun.
and now I'm really happy I did. It was probably, from a percentage return and like the velocity of money, it's probably one of the best investments I've ever
No
made.
kidding.
Outside of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Caveat.
Of course. Wow.
So we're sitting at his bar, and I don't know how we got on the topic, but I grew up in College Station. He went to Texas A&M. Turns out we were part of like the same car club, just a couple years apart. And then we had all of like this whole friend group.
Yeah, that we're
No
all
kidding.
friends with the same people, but we didn't
Oh, that's
know.
awesome, though. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it came full circle that night.
it was crazy.
How long ago was this?
This like 2 months ago?
ago?
Yeah,
Dang, really?
yeah. We didn't realize it this entire time. Like I knew that he went to A&M, but we just never like kind of put two and
Talked
two
about
together. We're
that.
like, oh, this person, this person,
Yeah.
this person. We're like,
It
oh.
was the car. When he let you know
Yeah.
the car, then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
And then him being a part of the Bubba Drift team.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So we obviously know all of the same people.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's super cool.
It's funny, cars and automotive and engines were like a really big part of my life growing up. And then I worked for Park Place, and I was service manager there and worked at the Rolls, Bentley, McLaren, Maserati store for a number of years, which was a lot of fun. So I had a pretty deep automotive and engine background, which kind of led itself into Bitcoin mining later with nat gas engines, and had a background in Bitcoin too before that. So it's just things have been really have gone really well, and I feel super blessed.
How did you get with the Giga dudes? From like, how did you?
I got in.
Or you just looking? You were on the prowl for some 18-year-old boys.
It was at Epstein's Island, right? And Matt and Brent just stroll on in.
They were 20 and 21.
Oh, okay, my bad. Brent's gonna hate me, man. You know how much he. Sorry, Brent. We love you, man. And Matt, we love both of you.
And Matt, I'm coming to your wedding. He's getting married to a girl.
Oh my gosh!
Let y'all know.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
I don't need a girlfriend.
I didn't either.
Matt has a girlfriend, and he's getting married.
That's an accomplishment.
To a girl.
When?
I think I'll let him break all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Breaking news.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Heard it here first. Energizing Bitcoin.
Matt likes
Matt
girls.
Lostro's got a chick. Congratulations. Sorry, ladies.
No.
He's off the market.
Off the market. I got invited to a Bitcoin conference in College Station, Texas A&M, the Mays School of Business. I went, and funny enough, one of my college roommates and best friends went there with me, and Matt and Brent were kind of keynote speakers at the event. And like, you know, for a long time, I've been trying to figure out how to make a Bitcoin mining operation profitable. And I bet I've looked at 50 or 100 different pro formas and opportunities, and I could never make it make sense. And I heard them speak, and I was like, man, there actually is an abundance of natural gas. You know, if there's a way to monetize that gas and burn it and create electricity, this sounds like the best thing ever. And kind of what turned me on to it was like, they were so good at that event, like very articulate. I knew they were young. I knew that they had not gotten any money or funding and were doing it all on their own. And I knew at that point, like, this was an opportunity for me to like take a step forward. And, you know, I really thought to myself, I wish in my like heart of hearts that someone would have taken a chance on me
Right.
at their age. And I don't know what I could have achieved, you know, at my age now. And I know it would be a lot more than what I'm doing today, but I just saw a lot of myself in them, and I wanted to do whatever it took to like support them and help them grow their vision. And the secret is that they told me no pretty consistently, and I was kind of like the Chinese water torture. Like every day, it was like email, text message, phone call. It was just like constantly.
Let me give you money.
Yeah, and shut up and take my money. And I don't know how long it took, but it felt like it took months. I want to say 4 or 5 months probably. I was like really, and when I'm saying like consistent follow-up, it was not Saturdays and Sundays. I think I gave them a break. But Monday through Friday, I was pretty persistent. And I think I remember Matt calling me, and we didn't really know each other that well. And I think looking back on it, we'll have to ask Matt one day. Maybe they'll tell us the truth. I think they were testing me to see if, like, maybe we'll just call this guy, tell him we'll take his money, and it would be enough to get me shut. Like, to stop calling him. But to the contrary, I was like, no, I think this is the right time. And I wanted to get behind it. And so we put together some capital really early. And really, it's been a pretty amazing journey and story ever since then. And I think all of us have set out to achieve something really big. And I think looking back, it's turned into something much bigger than what any of us had anticipated. And really, there's kind of been a more transition here more recently that's kind of precipitated some of it and made it a really compelling additional story. Like sometimes you start one direction and you kind of take a side quest.
Dude.
And side quests sometimes are more fun.
We
I'm
need to
the
do an
fourth-
MTV Cribs at the new office there.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That place is
The funniest,
great.
it's the funniest shit you'll ever see.
I think it's the coolest thing though, because they're so young, right? And just having like a house with your boys that you're working with together, and like have built a really successful company, well-known, great brand, and you guys are like so young and you're just kind of hanging out with your boys. Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I went there the last time and they were giving me the walkthrough, and I got this a little bit of a feeling like they were trying to justify to me some of the G&A money that was being spent on the house, like they needed to like sell me on it. And I was like, no, this is really pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, like I can do the math. And I think someone actually told me the exact dollar figures, like we could have spent X on renting an office space, or we could spend Y on getting this really like palatial mansion
it's a Scarface mansion.
Yeah, it is, dude.
And they were like, really,
that's exactly what it is.
Justifying it a little bit to me, and is this okay or is this not okay? And I was like totally fine with it. But I remember I was trying to, I think, find the bathroom because I'd never been in, and I wandered into a closet, and there was like a whole bed in the closet, like someone was sleeping and living in the closet.
That's an intern.
Last time I was there,
That's an intern's
Brent was like, "Yeah,
house.
we get like 7 guys just like living here. Like they don't even have houses."
Man, I think it was Griffin said it one time. He's like, "Man, those boys are having the time of their life. They don't even know it." Yeah, I'm like, dude, you're right. They're gonna look back and just be like,
This would be the best years of their lives.
Most fun we've ever had in
I
our
was
life.
a little disappointed there was no beer pong tables or, you know.
Dude, they probably have them.
There was no furniture. There was literally only fold-out furniture. But yet he was like, "Oh yeah, this is our full-time chef." And I was like,
Yeah, right. I
was like, "Wait, you guys are
got a
like
full-time
operating
chef.
on like card tables here, and you have this like full-time chef."
Priorities.
Priorities, man.
Protein.
Yeah,
They're eating right.
They're a bunch of growing boys.
I pulled up and I was like, "Surely I'm at the wrong place." I was like, "I think he sent me the wrong address." I was like, "There's no way." There's like a gate. I had to like call Mario to get in. I was like, "I guess I'm here." I mean, there's this massive, very ornate gate around this place. I was like, "This place is locked down like Fort Knox. I can't get in." He was like, then I see him stroll out in like his flip flops and shorts. And I'm like, I guess I'm here.
Oh man, it's great though. I love that stuff. It's like,
It's a feel-good story for sure.
oh, it's incredible. And there's so much of that stuff I just love about the whole industry. Like, it'd be so hard for me if I had to go get a real job now.
Yeah, same.
Like, I don't think I could do it.
Bitcoin's changed all of us, I think, for the better. Those of us that are survived and lived through some of the ups and downs of it, it's definitely been not without its challenges, and it's been hard. But I'm very thankful.
Oh, dude, I was talking to a dude today who did a show earlier, and I was talking to him about that too, because it was Ben Gagnon from Bit Farms, and you know, he's been doing this for so long, and now he's the CEO of a major publicly traded mining company, one of the biggest in the world. And it's like, when you started doing this in your garage, like mining freaking ETH, weirdo.
I gotta start somewhere.
Every somewhere. But like, you're doing
I ain't
that.
gay no more. I like women. I like Bitcoin.
I like Bitcoin. We need to do an edit of that, or just like that. I don't like ETH no more. I like Bitcoin. Bitcoin. But yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you go from like doing that to thinking that literally in less than a decade, you're going to be the CEO of a major publicly traded.
This is pretty big now, yeah?
Oh yeah, dude, they're one of the biggest in the world. Like 1% of the hash rate.
This is the one that Riot was trying to take over, right?
Right. And so it's like, man, now you're the CEO of a company like that from freaking running some computers in your garage.
I mean, it's like probably one of the only industries that you can get into a publicly traded company, and like the amount of gains that you get and the underlying security or commodity is commensurate with your career path.
Man, you sound so
Those are some
smart.
big words there.
Slow down there, freaking Steve Jobs. I didn't understand what you just say.
Sounds like Rain Man.
Oh man, I like these kind of shows. This is
Never go
great.
full retard.
All right, can you translate that? So, can you translate that for me?
Like the percentage gains that you get in like the underlying, call it Bitcoin, and how fast that can go up. It's very similar to the way like you can go from being mining ETH or Bitcoin in your garage to being a CEO of a publicly traded company. I mean, there's really hardly any career paths that are available to people that are young or up and coming that are available these days. I mean, it's really still an old money, old guard. You know, you've got to either have an MBA from an Ivy League school or, you know, the right pedigree to be picked to get to that type of a spot. But only in Bitcoin could you transcend like being somewhat of a normal person to being a publicly traded CEO. And it's all on their own merits.
I was going to say, this is completely merit-based. Like, one of the only industries that I think is left where it is like...
Whatever you did before that, it honestly doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's just you get into mining and it's like, it's proof of work.
Right, yeah. Man, listen to you guys.
It's proof of work. It's like that text I sent you earlier with Joe Rogan, like getting his black belt.
Yeah.
You know, it's a struggle, and, you know, it's life or death. And the people that make it and are best suited to do these type of jobs tend to rise to the occasion and continue to do well.
That's honestly, man, I was talking about this today too, not with that dude, but a different one, but just making it through the cycles. You know what I mean? Like you coming in and investing so early in some, you know, studs that are putting together something cool in the industry. The fact that, you know, I got to go before the last cycle and through it, and now come through, you know, this bull or through the bear into a new bull. And it's like, man, dude, you got to stick it out. Like you have to stick it out. You can't bounce. Like you won't make it if you bounce around and do all that. You fall out. But
one of the quotes that we keep kind of saying back and forth to each other, I said it to him, and I just keep saying it, and it's just like the universe keeps telling me that I need to keep thinking about it. It was an old John D. Rockefeller quote, and I think it applies perfectly to this, is that the difference between conviction and conversation is writing a check.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So how much conviction do you have in Bitcoin?
Right.
Right. And this can lead us definitely into the entire MicroStrategy conversation.
Our freaking powers combined.
Let's just say that some of us are complete degenerates, and we have so much conviction that we are literally
gambling or
all in.
Everything on
It's not gambling though.
It's not. I believe it.
But
you know what I mean?
If you look at the principles of like every great investing book ever, and it's understand exactly what you're investing in. And if we have studied Bitcoin probably more than we've studied most things in life.
More than anything in my life.
Yeah.
I've done my 10,000 hours.
So maybe
that it's like
I used to really be in some weird like conspiracy
it?
theories. So I actually still am a lot of hours in. So it's close. But carry on, my bad.
But it's like how do you bet against the first order principles make sense, right?
Yeah, they do.
Especially with the new administration, with the strategic Bitcoin reserve,
everything's
with
aligned.
MicroStrategy buying more than there is new supply, then there's going to be fast followers with other corporations, other nation states.
That's the one that I think more than anything is like, so each cycle has like something different, right?
There's a theme.
Right.
Cycle.
And there's a new, like the last time you had more institutional money coming in, and you had the China exodus, right? So you had things that were like drivers for this. I have my own thoughts on what I think the driver would be for this next one. Well, I'll just tell you. You tell me.
Conspiracy theories there.
Well, no, I think it's the government aspect of it. I think the Bitcoin strategic reserve, as if you would have said this almost even 6 months ago, people are like, whatever, dude. You know what I mean? If you said this a year or two ago, it's not. It'd be like you're
crazy person.
You're crazy.
So Polymarket still says it's only a 30% chance. 30%.
I saw 54. I thought
it went down a lot today.
Did it?
It went down a lot. However, I'm still very bullish.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of this stuff is not priced in. So I think everything's cheap. So that's why it's continued to ape in as much as you possibly.
But the mere fact that there's even a debate about like this is probably, and it's not like you're stupid. It's like, yeah, you might be right. This is probably, there's a good chance that it does happen. If that happens, I don't think we can really conceptualize what that could do to the price of Bitcoin. I really don't. Because I'm like, you think if the USA started doing that, everybody is doing it. Everybody. There's no way they won it. And at that point, that's such a difference from any other cycle we've had. And it's a difference from the ones who control even this money supply.
I've been seeing a lot of chatter, and here's an interesting thought. Are we done with the traditional 4-year cycles moving forward?
Nah, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Why not?
Because it's a commodity to me. And like, commodities boom and bust, you know what I mean? The difference is that the supply keeps going down, and like, you know that there's no additional.
We're the 7th largest asset in the world now.
Right.
It's going to continue to grow. You've got ETFs. You've got ETF options that are trading now.
But the ETFs can work against you, I think, too.
Potentially.
I think they were able to maybe work against you more as of yesterday. But today, with the availability of options that started trading today, I think things are going to be different. I kind of can get along with you saying that maybe things are different just because of the amount of like delta hedging that's available for large institutions that they wouldn't necessarily have before today. If you look at the amount of like options that are traded on any individual exchange, they're really small. And the majority of these like, major endowments, pension funds, or large capital allocators can't place a trade on Deribit. They can't go on OKX. They can't go on Binance and trade. They need.
So when they buy, they're holding. Is that what you're
When they
saying?
buy, they hold.
Yeah.
And they hold usually for longer durations, and they buy in size, but they do delta hedge, or they need the ability to delta hedge, and I think you're starting to see part of that in price action today. You start to see a move up in price, but you also start to see a bigger move up in MicroStrategy, which is its own conversation, right? But the ability for them to enter a position and then place an options trade, below that
Right. It's
position
awesome.
to kind of lock in some type of hedge. They were not able to do that in sufficient size to make it agreeable.
Dude, Michael Saylor is a freaking
Hit him with it, Phil.
psychopath. I want to hear this. What?
I can't.
Just do it.
Hit him with a quote. We know.
Oh, well, the quote is, everybody's down to do gangster shit until it's time to do gangster shit.
Right.
And Michael Saylor's
Oh,
down to do
dude.
it.
He's the gangster.
Yeah, he's the original gangster.
That dude, yeah.
MicroStrategy is the best highly levered ETF, low cost ETF.
Well, MicroStrategy is not an ETF, it's a security, so there is no fees. So if you look at MicroStrategy as a security, there are no underlying fees.
Yeah.
If you look at IBIT, FBTC, or any other publicly traded Bitcoin ETF, there are fees associated with it that eat into your returns over time. Where if you own a security like MicroStrategy, there is no additional fee, but you get the added benefit of having your Bitcoin denominated yield go up, because every time you buy Bitcoin, the underlying security that you own aggregates more total Bitcoin that comes with it. So over time,
Which is better than an ETF.
which is better than an ETF if you want pure, unadulterated, as Michael Saylor, I think he calls it like double Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is it? It's
Double
like
maxi, triple maxi.
double maxi, triple maxi.
Double
yeah,
Trump
that's
maxi.
it, Yeah.
Yeah, you get MicroStrategy, and then if you really want to be irresponsibly long,
You get triple leverage.
Yeah, you get double leveraged ETFs that trade out there. Not financial advice.
But we're doing it.
We're all degenerates here.
Yeah. I don't care. You got to, right? You gotta,
Well, I mean, I can neither confirm nor deny what I do with my personal portfolio, but I like the stock.
I like the
Yeah.
stock. I love when Michael Saylor goes, I think the Saylor tracker needs a few more green dots, which is like every time he buys.
Yeah. Oh, no shit. Really? I need to watch that.
So if you're paying attention to like what like his buys, so he announced the 2121, which we're talking about on the podcast with Lisa, right? So 42 billion that he was going to be buying. He's already bought, I think, $21 billion. This was supposed to be like a 3-year plan, and we're not even to the end of the year, right? So I think that this turns into this $42 billion plan probably goes away, and he uses up all the money, and then he probably does like a $221 million plan or something. I think this continues to steps down.
Yeah.
Maybe the $210 billion plan.
Oof.
He likes 21.
He likes 21 a lot.
I don't know, man. I've never been so excited about, and it's not like
The first time that we felt like collectively as an industry
Confident.
group more confident and felt like the boot was off of our neck for the very first time.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Where it's like, no, we are not having to have the same conversation about, well, what happens if from a regulatory standpoint, or what happens if the government, we don't have to worry about that. And this is the first time and probably ever that's been that way. And you know how legitimized we are now? You know what I mean? Like, from every standpoint. The conversations I would have even a year or two ago, man, with certain people, it's it's different now. And I feel different talking to people now.
Yeah, you've got a little swagger.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you know what?
And you've got the best hair in
Told
the
you.
Yeah.
Dude.
I may have a strong hand, but I know about Bitcoin.
Strong hand, but I know Bitcoin. But you know what I mean? I don't even have to say it. I don't even care, honestly. I'm just like, it's a breath of fresh air where it's like, listen, we're not stupid, okay? And I don't care if you think I'm stupid, because at the end of the day, that probably benefits me more if you think I'm stupid, because it allowed me to stack a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get to a point when you've done it for long enough and you've seen all the different machinations of how it could be and how your life could, how it could be. And a lot of it you lived through the last cycle, and it was probably one of the worst. I don't know. I mean, I think I cried. Not gonna lie. There were some times where I was like, this is
Demoralizing.
I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, because I don't need this.
Yeah.
And to make it through all of that and come out the other side, I mean, it gives you a level of confidence. And that's kind of like what we were talking about jiu-jitsu the other day. It's like doing something hard for the benefit of it being hard is kind of like cathartic in and of itself. And like Bitcoin is hard. It's hard to do this and hard to be confident for this amount of time and hang on to things and have a conviction level that allows you to like continue to come back to it all the time. But you also have to have a good friend group.
Yeah.
People to support you whenever it's hard and when you're down. You got to make good decisions along the way, and you can't degen into every meme coin known to man.
No. I'm actually in that regard. I don't like, it's easy for me. Yeah. Like about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You're right about the friends though too, man. Like, I love you guys. I'm gonna start crying. Jake's been my boy.
Don't do it. Don't you do it, man.
I mean, we met a while ago now. Same too,
Yeah.
man. Like, and honestly, Phil was one of my buddies that I talked to very early on a lot of my very personal stuff that I was dealing with, and you were big. Some of my best friends have been, actually all my best friends have been Bitcoin folks.
It's funny how that works out. I mean,
mainly you guys.
it comes to you like at different times in your life. Like you need different sets of people to give you the confidence to like continue, because this is probably one of the hardest industries to like lose sight of what it is that you're trying to do. Because you can get distracted over every shiny bauble, every new theory or way to like extract additional value out of it, just because the current thing that you're doing is not working, not in favor right now.
Yeah.
But sticking to that day in and day out is like it's something gratifying. It's almost like working out or like doing a repetitive job, like where it gets kind of like monotonous, but then there is some kind of a level of like zen that comes.
I would say peace that comes from that. Yeah. But it's also one where like we were all friends in some way. Me and you obviously we've been boys now for a long time. But me and you were boys too. But now you guys doing stuff together, and I'm going to be a part in some way. But you guys doing the stuff together now, and
we're just it's the coming out party.
Right.
We're dropping the bomb. Let's talk about how it happened. So we're in Fort Worth. We come up. We're hanging out. I was like, I was like, somebody should do this. I got this thesis. And I was like, from us doing the podcast and from energizing Bitcoin, and then from just everything else from the other podcast and everything else I've learned. And I was like, somebody should go do this. This is like what the thesis is. And Phil looks at me and goes, why don't you do it? And I was like, because I've got obligations. Like, the things I'm doing. And I was like, I have a rule where I only do like one thing at a time. We raise all this money. And he goes, what if I do it with you? And I was like, okay, well, that changes things. Next to me, something to think about.
It's like the Bible, man. You know, where two or more gathered. It's you guys, yeah.
Two or more gathered, and the Corley energy was born.
Right.
And that was like that was the genesis. That was the genesis. And so, obviously, navigated the kind of the exit with DW, and then we just started talking about it, and then we're like, okay, well, we need to go buy some assets. So in my mind, I was like, okay, if I've got to find like who can run assets, like who can run deals better than me, that's a really low bar. But I was like, who are the best? Who are the best deal runners? And so I looked at the guys at Forecast, so Zach Copeland and Andrew Munoz, because their software is for people to like evaluate deals. So I called Zach and I'm like, hey, here's what we're doing. I know you guys, you've got a lot of users, yada yada. I was like, who would be like the 3 power users, like the smartest people that you know that may be interested to get involved with us? And so he gave me a list of 3. I talked to all 3 of them. And then we landed on Tim. And Tim immediately... Tim's a monster. Tim is like, he's brilliant. And he immediately started probing back with questions about like selling power back to the grid and like doing a variety of other things. And it was just like immediately proof of work. And I was like, Tim is our guy. There was never a definitive moment where Tim and I talked about like, hey, like, it was just like assumed.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're just figuring out, like we're evolving our thinking, trying to figure out how do we make this happen. And so we're chugging along, and then I was like, surely this is too good to be true. I was like, I think we have a huge opportunity in front of us. And I was like, I feel like we need to get punched in the face. I'm looking for a reason for this to not work. And so then I go to Mark Meyer, who's one of the smartest guys I've ever met in the industry. He's a walking historian from upstream oil and gas. And I said, if anybody's going to tear this apart, it's going to be Mark. And so Mark does the BD show with Colin and Chuck and Kirk. And so if you can just go listen to that if you want. And so Mark was a former CTO at Apache. He ran research at TPH for a long time. So we get together. I know he's kind of just like hanging out. He was like, I want to know what you're doing. So we get together. And I kind of like fill him in, and I kind of like brace myself to be just like torn apart for like, there's a million reasons that this is not going to work. And then Mark goes on a monologue for an hour, telling me all the reasons that it's going to work. And I was like, so what do you want to do? And because like I knew he's kind of been on the sidelines. He goes, I want to do this. And I said, done.
Let's do it.
Let's get weird.
And he's like, what's my role? And I was like, I don't know, create one. I don't care. Like you're on the team. Let's make this happen. Fast forward. Not even a month from that date, all 4 of us are in Miami pitching institutions to get the whole debt underwritten for the acquisition of the initial assets. Which went
really well.
Remarkably well. I'd venture to say that we were batting 1,000 out of every single one of the meetings in terms of like getting that, kind of soft circle. Obviously, you have to have an asset to kind of like back your way into it.
I think I Will Ferrelled from The Hangover. Like at least once or twice. I may have had moments where I said a lot of things really fast, and I wasn't exactly sure what I said until I was done.
Oh, you're talking old school. You said, "Hey, yeah." I know exactly what you're talking about now. Dude, that's how I live my life.
Word all the time.
I'll black out there for a second.
Yeah. Sometimes I do that. Like, I even believe myself sometimes. It's even better.
Well, look, I don't know the other dudes, but I know I feel kind of weird here because Jake may not even agree with this, but when I first met Jake, he was he's just still Jake. But
where's this going?
Yeah.
Where's this going?
But he's very, very, he was much more cautious, right? He wasn't like, I wouldn't describe him as a degenerate, at least from an investment standpoint, right? I would describe him as an anxiety-ridden
I got no anxiety these days.
Right.
I feel
It's
great.
weird.
It's
when
weird.
you do crazier stuff, when
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, screw it, I'm going to freaking go. Throwing the dice, you feel way better.
Yeah.
I do. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
I think also sometimes whenever you live through a bear market and you die,
Right.
you can't go any lower.
Right.
Like everything's up from there.
It's just kind of like,
It's up only.
yeah, man, I made it. I died and it's not that bad, you know? But so now though, as our relationship continued to grow over the years, and you know, we've been around each other more and more all the time. We talk a lot about life and spirituality and like just psychology and just life, right? I see him now, he's like, I'm leaving my job. I'm freaking in on Bitcoin. I'm this, I'm that. And he's like, now he's diving in where I'm like, oh shit, wow, this dude's going after
He
it.
doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to be about it.
I like it. I like it.
Like Phil says.
The thing is too, that's how I was going to say, this actually starts with Phil though. Because
Phil's the instigator.
Yes. Because I was talking to him a lot and I'm like realizing he's kind of giving me these little tidbits of knowledge and I'm like, he's right. I need to do something. My life is not where I want it to be and my life needs to be this and I have to take control of this and all of a sudden my life is a million times better right now.
Self-actualization is real.
Oh, dude.
Since I met Phil, I own a lot more MicroStrategy. I own a lot more Bitcoin.
This is the trickle down Phil effect.
And now I own
I love that.
That's what it is.
And now I own a 65 Mustang.
Yes.
Boom.
Winning.
Boom. I like it. But isn't it? It's all started because of you, man.
Yes, I support your decisions.
I know you do.
Big fan.
No.
Real big fan.
So,
We still have to figure out whose car's faster. We're going to line them up.
ooh.
We're gonna line them up. I'm gonna beat you up and take your lunch. That's all I'm gonna tell you. You might be bigger and stronger, but I got more facial hair
And horsepower.
and I got more horsepower. So
TBD, we'll see.
yeah,
We will see.
I can guarantee you both of you would beat me in my Defender.
Yeah.
My
gonna run
300
first, dog.
TDI. Hey, it's running great right now.
Yeah?
Yeah, $90,000 later, it's running perfect. No, I'm joking. Not quite
more
there.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I add up all the time. Every time we hit another new high, I'm like, okay, that vehicle now costs this much, and I'm going to do that 15 years from now, and it's going to make me want to throw up. But
I count my my Bitcoin gains in Porsches now.
yeah,
How many Porsches can I buy?
honestly,
That's a
seriously,
good problem to have.
oh, it's a great problem to have. But on that point, I actually was talking to people, and I've heard this more and more. So I heard Pompliano talking about this too. But is literally people need to, if you price stuff right now that like you buy in Bitcoin, and look at it from 2, 3, 4 years ago, a year ago, it will make you want to puke.
Yeah.
You're like,
Listen to the
wow,
number of like what the median house costs.
exactly.
Yeah. What was it
Dude.
like? A median house was like $280,000, and it was like 60 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And
Now it's like 5 Bitcoin.
It's not even that. 3.
Oof.
And that's where
We got to buy more.
over the last like 2 weeks, I've been kind of using that metric when I do talk to, because like I got 4 kids and counting Sarah's, right? And the older 2, Sarah's 2, they got a lot of, they're 24 and 22. So they got a lot of that age group people in them. And so I imagine the mentality is probably the same and the thought process and all this. And so I've been doing that with them, just kind of walking through, like, because they've been getting curious how it always happens, right? Bitcoin rips, people get curious. And so we have those conversations, and I can even see it in their face when we're talking about it, when they're like, oh, that, because it resonates. It's like, wow, you're right. That is, so then how could you ever even argue about where to protect your money at? Your energy, your time, your efforts, everything you do that provides your livelihood, why would you not put it into this when you look at it that way?
Yeah, it's hard for me. Like I look at other opportunities to invest in other asset classes and other, investments in general. And it's just the compound annual growth for what we've done and what we've built just tends to lend itself to like continue doing more of what we know.
Right.
I think a lot of people's pushback is, it doesn't have a long enough track record.
Dude, we're at freaking
It doesn't have
16 years.
it doesn't have cash flows, which I would argue, the block subsidy and the mining rewards on a daily basis, like are Bitcoin's cash flows.
How is it any different than the other mining of a commodity?
I mean, it's really not. It's not denominated that way because of the way that it's accounted for. But I think if people have zoomed out and realized there's 450 Bitcoin that get mined every day, and the value of those underlying Bitcoin is quite large. It's several $1 million a day.
We are so undervalued from a supply-demand standpoint. It's absurd. We talked about it on that last one where it was like, you're producing 95 million barrels a day, you're consuming 95 million barrels a day. If you wanted to have basically the same scenario right now, you'd be producing 95 million barrels a day and be in need of 1 billion barrels a day. It's
Number goes up.
right. Can you imagine what? And again, not one-to-one, because you literally need that to function. But it's going to be a lot different than what it actually is when you look at it today, where we're at a 10 to 15x production. You know what I mean? Production to demand. It's crazy. Like, are the number of what Bitcoin actually would be worth? I don't even know if we could. It's at least 10 times what it is right now.
If not more.
Yeah, I think more realistically, but it would at least be 10 times.
It's always like, what's your time scale? And that is one of the things that I've noticed, and it may be helpful for like the younger kids you're talking about. I think everybody's time scale is different. It tends to be the younger you are, the more like now focused you are. And Bitcoin has a way of humbling you, and it also has a way of making you more long-term thinker, which allows you to make better decisions. And I think I'd try to think really critically about everything that we do and not try to rush into anything anymore, except for maybe MicroStrategy.
Dude, we made a pact.
We did.
Everybody should make a pact with us. That's what we should do.
At this point, it's more of a blood oath.
Yeah. I'm in. I'm in. I have no problem doing it.
I'll be dropping screenshots.
So will I.
I will too. Promise. No problem.
Group text screenshots.
All right. Man, it's about to get real now.
Yeah, it's getting real. I don't care. No problem.
I'm riding this red wave, baby.
I wish I had more. That I can just go do right now. I'm selling my Defender. Anybody wants to buy a Defender? It's beautiful, runs great, brand new everything. I have redone that whole freaking thing. So
Sound like a used car salesman.
hey,
Not a problem.
Not
I
a problem.
promise.
You got you want a new transmission? You got it. You want a new clutch? You got it. I've got freaking 4 vehicles sitting in the not like you're 4, but I got a lot out there.
I had 5, so I've whittled it down to 1
What'd you get rid of?
of the other Land Cruiser.
Oh, man. Gosh. Yeah, no, mine's
Mine's a problem.
a car problem?
Yeah, it's an issue.
It sounds like
It's
a freaking.
unresolved, but
It sounds fun to me.
it's a lot of fun. I think my neighbors probably don't quite
Wonder.
approve of it.
What is going on there? What's he got going on?
Yeah, I think when I got rid of the
They
last...
think you're in the cartel, I guarantee it.
No, but
He's the lone white guy in the
We sent a
cartel.
PA to follow him around. He walks out of the Giga Scarface house, and they're like, "This guy is
He is
definitely in the cartel."
Cartel all the way.
one man wolf pack. But yeah, the last time I got rid of one of the cars, my neighbor did make kind of a backhanded compliment. It was like, "Oh man, you're getting rid of one of them? So you have room in front of your house now?" And I was like, "Yes." I didn't know that it was an issue before, but like, now
Sorry,
I feel a
my
little-
driveway disturbs you, sir.
So there's a little subliminal message there he was trying to get across, and I got it loud and clear.
Let him know now. You're filming podcasts in your garage.
Well, to make him happy, I bought a lift so that I could stack cars and stuff.
Nice.
These are the kind of problems. I guess I have some of these problems.
Yeah, you do have these
We're at the
problems.
start of these problems.
Well, your Mustang is going to live here for a little while.
Yeah, it is gonna live here. Yeah.
I told him he can deliver to my place. I will make sure I get it some exercise.
I said I don't want that. I want
needs
that
a breeze.
bad juju. That thing will break down real quick.
Those ponies got to like be in a stable together.
Yeah.
Don't want
So
you
he's gonna lift this up, pull his car underneath, pull
And
mine
put
in
yours
here.
under
Yeah.
it.
We'll get 3 of them in here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna have one show up, a little baby Mustang pop out.
I was thinking about a Toyota Supra too. And I'll just get another lift, and then put the Supra up there, and then we'll have a.
That's the only way to do it.
Man, that's what all the cool kids.
Until you get convinced to build the bardominium compound.
I'm not gonna lie, when we were
And then
pulling
we
in here,
fit
I'm like,
50
how's he
in
got
there.
another garage sitting out here? Where's he got? He gonna buy another lot? Is he buy a lot next door? Just build a garage?
These are first world Bitcoin problems.
Yeah. Well,
Next bull run, this dude's gonna have he's gonna have a garage.
I might have a garage, but I won't have any Lambos.
No, don't. I know. I'm not a Lambo guy, man.
Can't do it. I've driven them. They drive like shit.
I want to do it for a multitude of reasons, but
One of them is
number
like,
one
you're
is
not cool enough.
I'm not. Well, I'm definitely.
I'm not making any promises here. This is excluding me from this conversation.
I might be getting a Lambo.
You know how cool it'd be to go out to the wells in the Serato? This is jacked up 4-wheel drive Lambo.
I don't know
That's
how
kinda cool.
it would be. I don't know if they
Kind of
would
cool.
Like
They
that.
make for a great YouTube video.
It would be a good YouTube video.
We throw the pumper in there and be like,
Look at
let's go right to the wells.
Looking
Look at
around
this.
for beast.
Yeah, yeah. Look at this douche driving the 4-wheel drive.
Are you gonna get out with pointy-toed boots?
It's gonna be those ones with the cobras that come out the tips of the boots.
You're wearing a jade bolo,
Yeah,
turquoise.
I'm gonna borrow your cartel outfit to try this thing around.
What do you wear to your cartel meetings? That's what he's gonna wear.
It's what he wore to Miami.
Skinny jeans. You get my gray skinny jeans for the cartel meetings.
Metallica t-shirt.
Oh, dude.
If you're gonna be a Bitcoin, you gotta have it.
Got to, bro.
One of my employees and good friends, he did get me a Metallica t-shirt for Christmas. And he's like, you always talk about skinny jeans and Metallica t-shirts. He's like, I haven't seen you wear one in a long time. So he's like, I had to get you one. And honestly, I wear it all the time.
Well, according to Bloomberg, I wear skinny jeans all the time. So,
Well,
to the oil field.
You made the joke yourself.
I know.
all right. Hopefully these cameras have lasted this whole podcast. Let's see.
I had fun.
This has been a blast.
I don't know.
We're about to drive 7 hours to Uchi. You want to come?
Yeah, you want to go to Uchi?
Cameras leave all these kids here.
We might die from dysentery on the way there.
I played Oregon Trail, the card game, the other day. And I died of dysentery. I Googled, what is dysentery?
Nobody knows anymore.
Sounds terrible, dude.
It's awful.
It's diarrhea.
It's when you don't own Bitcoin, right?
I think that's right.
You guys are all going to die of dysentery if you don't buy some Bitcoin right now.
B-roll.
P-roll. Yep, that's what happens.
Hashtag buy Bitcoin. You don't have enough.
And
Never
you're not
enough.
late. You're not late.
Phil, it's been fun.
I'm very excited for you guys.
Next time we'll do it from the bar.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do
From
that.
the bar.
Yeah.
We'll just recreate a scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, let's do that.
The whole bit.
We'll have beer at tacos.
Yeah.
Well, if us are the three dudes, who's who? Who's Charlie?
Probably me.
You're Charlie?
You're Charlie. I feel like I'd be like, I'm either Mac or Dennis. And you're Frank.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Nailed it.
I'm Frank. I'm fine with that. We got the same hair.
I love it.
I'll take Frank. I'll go with that. I like Frank.
How could you not?
He's hilarious, man. That's a great show. Do you know my brother is friends with Cricket?
Really?
So my brother's
Brother
best
would be friends with Greg.
my brother's best man at his first wedding is Cricket's brother,
That's
Michael
crazy.
Hornsby.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've met him. He's a cool dude.
And with that, we're going out on a high note.
Yep. Later.
Catch you guys in the next episode.